Teal giants, mechanical killers. The tanks of World War II did not just fight battles, they decided the entire outcome of the war. Today we are going through every single deadliest tank of World War II, fully explained, with real specs and real history. Stay until the end because the last machine on this list carries the most powerful anti-tank gun ever mounted on any armored vehicle in the entire conflict. The Soviet T-34 is widely considered the most important and most influential tank of World War II, combining sloped armor, a powerful diesel engine, and mass production capability in a way no other nation had achieved. The 1944 variant, the T-34/85, was armed with an 85mm gun capable of defeating most German armor at standard combat ranges, while its 500 horsepower diesel engine pushed it to a top road speed of 55 kilometers per hour. With over 84,000 units produced across the entire war, the T-34 overwhelmed German armored forces through sheer numbers and continuous battlefield improvement. No other single tank design had a greater strategic impact on the outcome of World War II. Next we have the machine that defined fear on the Western and Eastern fronts alike, the German Tiger I, officially designated the Panzerkampfwagen 6 Tiger Ausführung E, entered service in 1942 and immediately established itself as one of the most dangerous tanks of the entire war. Armed with the legendary 88mm KWK-36 gun with a barrel length of 56 calibers, the Tiger I could penetrate the frontal armor of virtually any Allied tank it encountered at ranges exceeding 1,000 meters. Its 100mm frontal hull armor made it nearly immune to most Allied anti-tank weapons of the period, though only 1,347 units were ever completed, limiting its overall strategic impact. Let us continue with the workhorse of the Allied armored forces. The American M4 Sherman medium tank was produced in greater numbers than almost any other tank of World War II, with approximately 49,234 units manufactured across multiple variants between 1942 and 1945. Weighing around 30 tons and powered by various engines depending on the variant, the Sherman was celebrated not for outright firepower, but for its exceptional mechanical reliability, ease of maintenance, and ability to be transported and deployed rapidly across multiple theaters of operation. Early 75mm gun variants struggled against late-war German armor, which led to the development of upgun versions mounting a 76mm gun with significantly improved penetration performance. The Sherman's greatest strength was logistics. It kept Allied armored divisions continuously supplied and mobile in ways that German production could never match. Next, we have what many military historians consider the finest overall tank design of World War II. The German Panther, officially the Panzerkampfwagen V, was developed as a direct response to the shock of encountering the Soviet T-34 on the Eastern Front in 1941, and it entered mass production in 1943, armed with the high-velocity 75mm KWK-42 gun with a barrel length of 70 calibers. The Panther could destroy any Allied tank of the period at ranges exceeding 1,500 meters, making it a devastating offensive weapon. Its 80mm frontal hull armor was angled at 55 degrees, dramatically increasing effective protection through deflection, while its 700 horsepower Maybach engine gave it a top road speed of 55 kilometers per hour. Approximately 6,000 units were produced, and the Panther remains a benchmark in balanced armor, firepower, and mobility for its era. Let us continue with the Soviet answer to Germany's heaviest armor. The IS-2, part of the Iosif Stalin heavy tank series, was introduced in early 1944 and became the most powerfully armed Soviet tank deployed during World War II. Its 122mm D-25T gun fired a projectile capable of catastrophically destroying a Tiger I at ranges of up to 1,000 meters, and in many engagement reports, a single hit was enough to completely disable or destroy even the heaviest German vehicles. The IS-2 carried 120mm frontal armor on the hull and weighed approximately 46 tons, driven by a 600 horsepower diesel engine reaching a top speed of 37 kilometers per hour. Around 3,385 units were produced, and the IS-2 played a decisive role in the final Soviet drives into Eastern Europe, and the assault on Berlin in 1945. Next, we have the heavy tank that stopped the German advance cold in 1941. The Soviet Kliment Voroshilov 1, or KV-1, was already in service when Germany launched Operation Barbarossa, and its armor completely shocked German tank crews and anti-tank gunners who initially found their standard weapons unable to penetrate it at normal combat ranges. Armed with a 76mm gun and protected by armor ranging from 75 to 90mm, the KV-1 weighed approximately 47 tons and represented a generational leap in Soviet heavy tank design at the start of the conflict. Its 600 horsepower diesel engine gave it a top road speed of around 35 kilometers per hour, which was respectable for a vehicle of its mass and protection level. Approximately 4,500 units were produced before production shifted to the improved KV-1S and later the IS series, but the KV-1's early war impact on German planning and doctrine was immense. Let us continue with the backbone of the entire German armored force throughout World War II. The Panzer IV was the only German tank to remain in continuous frontline production from the very beginning to the very end of the war, with approximately 8,553 units completed across multiple variants between 1936 and 1945. Early versions carried a short-barreled 75mm gun designed for infantry support, but from the Ausführung F2 variant onward, it was upgunned with the long-barreled 75mm KWK-40 gun, dramatically transforming it into a capable tank killer able to engage Soviet T-34S and other medium armor on roughly equal terms. Additional applique armor plates brought frontal protection up to 80mm on later variants, while the 300 horsepower Maybach engine provided a top road speed of around 40 kilometers per hour. The Panzer IV served on every major front of World War II and formed the numerical core of German armored operations for the entire duration of the conflict. Next, we have the variant that finally gave Allied crews a genuine answer to the Tiger. The Sherman Firefly was a British modification of the standard M4 Sherman chassis, rearmed with the highly effective British 17-pounder, a 76.2mm anti-tank gun that could penetrate the frontal armor of the Tiger I and Panther at standard combat ranges where other Allied tank guns simply could not. This made the Firefly immediately one of the most feared Allied armored vehicles during the Normandy campaign of 1944, and German tank commanders were specifically trained to prioritize and eliminate Fireflies before engaging other Sherman variants in formation. Approximately 2,100 units were produced and issued primarily to British and Commonwealth armored units, with each troop typically receiving one Firefly among 3 standard Shermans. The Firefly demonstrated that a proven chassis could be radically enhanced through intelligent rearming, and it restored genuine anti-armor capability to Allied tank formations at a critical moment of the war. Let us continue with the most heavily armored production tank of World War II, the Tiger II. Officially, the Panzerkampfwagen V Tiger Ausführung B, and commonly known as the King Tiger or Königstiger, entered service in 1944 and represented the absolute peak of German heavy tank engineering during the conflict. Armed with the 88mm KWK-43 gun with a barrel length of 71 calibers, a significantly more powerful weapon than the Tiger I's gun, the Tiger II could destroy any Allied or Soviet tank of the era at ranges exceeding 2,000 meters. Its frontal hull armor measured 150 millimeters, set at a 40-degree angle, making it effectively immune to virtually all Allied and Soviet tank guns at standard engagement distances. Only 489 units were completed due to extreme manufacturing complexity and severe shortages of raw materials, yet Tiger II crews recorded a remarkable kill ratio across every front where the vehicle was deployed. Next, we have the tank destroyer that combined the deadliest gun in the German inventory with one of the finest chassis ever built. The jagdpanther was a casemate-style tank destroyer built on the Panther tank chassis and armed with the 88mm PaK-43 anti-tank gun, the same devastating weapon mounted in the Tiger II, giving it the ability to destroy any Allied or Soviet armored vehicle at extreme combat ranges. Its 80mm frontal armor plate was set at 55 degrees, providing exceptional protection for a vehicle in its weight class, while its 700 horsepower engine maintained the Panther's impressive mobility at a total combat weight of around 45 tons, Only approximately 415 units were produced between 1944 and 1945, limiting its battlefield presence, but it was universally recognized by Allied crews and commanders as the most dangerous German tank destroyer of the entire war. The jagdpanther is still studied in military engineering programs today as a near-perfect integration of firepower, protection, and mobility within a single armored platform. Let us continue with the American tank that was purpose-built to defeat the Tiger. The M26 Pershing was the United States Army's answer to the growing threat of German heavy armor, and it arrived in the European theater in February of 1945 armed with the 90mm M3 gun, capable of penetrating the frontal armor of the Panther and achieving kills on the Tiger I at practical combat ranges. Weighing approximately 41 tons and protected by 102 millimeters of frontal hull armor, the Pershing represented a significant leap in American armored capability beyond the M4 Sherman and was officially classified as a heavy tank upon its introduction. Its 500 horsepower Ford GAF engine delivered a top road speed of around 48 kilometers per hour, and approximately 2,212 units were produced before the end of the war in Europe. Though its combat service in World War II was brief, the M26 Pershing proved decisively effective in the engagements it did fight and directly shaped American heavy armor doctrine into the following decade. Next, we have the British tank that finally delivered the firepower and speed the Royal Armoured Corps had needed throughout the war. The Comet, officially designated the A-34 Comet, entered British service in late 1944 and was powered by the 600 horsepower Rolls-Royce Meteor engine, the same power plant used in the Cromwell, giving it a top road speed of approximately 51 kilometers per hour, which made it one of the fastest heavily armed tanks of the entire conflict. Its main armament was the 77mm Ordnance QF gun, a compact derivative of the 17-pounder that retained excellent anti-armor penetration while fitting within a fully rotating turret on a medium tank chassis, capable of defeating the Panther and engaging the Tiger I at combat ranges. 101 millimeters of frontal armor and a well-sloped hull design gave the Comet solid protection relative to its 35-ton weight, and approximately 1,186 units were produced. The Comet is widely regarded by historians as the finest British cruiser tank of World War II, and it came so close to the ideal balance of firepower, protection, and mobility that it remained in British Army service well into the 1950s. And finally, let us close with the most heavily armored and most powerfully armed tank destroyer ever built and deployed during World War II, the jagdtiger. Built on the Tiger II chassis, carried frontal armor measuring 250 millimeters in thickness, the heaviest armor protection fitted to any armored fighting vehicle of the entire conflict, making it virtually impenetrable to any Allied or Soviet weapon system available in the final years of the war. Its main weapon was the 128mm PaK-44 anti-tank gun, which fired a projectile capable of penetrating over 170 millimeters of vertical rolled homogeneous steel armor at 2,000 meters range, a level of destructive power that no Allied tank could survive at any realistic combat distance. Weighing approximately 71 tons, the jagdtiger was chronically underpowered by its 700 horsepower Maybach engine, which led to severe mechanical unreliability, a top road speed of only 38 kilometers per hour, and frequent breakdowns that kept many units out of combat for extended periods. Only 88 jagdtigers were ever completed, and while its battlefield record was limited by its own mechanical failures and fuel shortages, the jagdtiger remains the ultimate expression of German armored engineering philosophy, a vehicle of such overwhelming firepower and protection that it had no equal on any World War II battlefield.